Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here at the University of California, Merced during UC Week. We will be focusing during this event on our first-year students. So once again, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Ricky Hill, and I'm an e-recruiter here at the University of California, Merced. At this time, let me go ahead and give you a couple of quick tips so that you can participate with us. If you would like to adjust your audio settings, you can do so in the lower left corner of your screen. Go ahead and click the audio settings button and you can make those adjustments as you see fit. If you would like to adjust the size of your window, go ahead and click on View Options at the top of your screen and make those adjustments as you would like. Lastly, and most importantly, we definitely would love to hear from you tonight, so please submit your questions by clicking on the Q&A button that you'll see at the lower portion of your screen. You can submit those questions to us and we will get to those throughout the presentation and at least a couple of those at the end of this session. Once again, my name is Ricky Hill and let me just welcome you once again to UC Week. And at this time, I would like to hand things over to my colleague, Brian.
Hello, everyone. I'll go ahead and get started with the presentation. Just want to say welcome and thank you for joining us in today's presentation and Q&A panel. My name is Brian Chongto and I'm the Admissions Public Advisor for the University of California, Merced. Today, we are very excited to share with you on the latest information and highlighting the dynamic and rapid expansion of UC Merced and UC eligibility requirements. Also, I want to note that there are QR codes throughout the presentation. You can use your camera to take a picture of the scan and directly have access to our websites pages regarding more information. If there are no questions at this point, we'll go ahead and get started with the presentation. Next slide, please. We now have 9 UC campuses which offer undergraduate and 1 campus that is a graduate and professional only, which is UC San Francisco. UC Merced opened in 2005 and is the newest and 10th campus in the University of California, Merced, University of California system, excuse me. We also are the first American research university of the 21st century. Next slide, please. UC Merced is in the middle of everything and centrally located, which means you'll run into a city or attraction that's easy to get to, such as Yosemite National Park, the state capitol, and the boardwalk in Santa Cruz and Monterey areas. Next slide, please. Some things that we can do here in Merced are, as you can see, listed there. One thing that students love to do is visiting our Lake Yosemite, which is adjacent to our campus. It offers beautiful views where you can barbecue and take part in seasonal recreational activities that include fishing and sailing. Next slide, please. UC Merced proudly serves as the most ethnically and culturally diverse student body among all University of California campuses. Also, we have over 70% of our student body that are the first to attend college in their families. Next slide, please. The 2020 project is a 4-year project which has been just completed this fall and has added new teaching, research, housing, and student support facilities. I will now pass it on to Pana, who will share more about life on campus.
Hello guys, my name is Pana. I'm going to be talking about our life on campus. And I know what you guys are probably thinking. What's life like on campus? And I'll get into that. Next slide, please. We have almost 200 clubs and organizations on campus. That's a lot. I know I'm a part of the MSA club and I'm trying to get into the pre-med club. But during these difficult times with COVID, it's hard to kind of get in, but you could always do that through Zoom meetings. If you feel that there's a club that you would like to join or start, but it's not a part of the 200 clubs, you can always make it by contacting the Office of Student Life, and you just need 5 signatures to start that up. So for our fraternities and sororities, we have around 19 different fraternities and sororities. They're separated into 2 categories, which is professional and social, but both really do focus on networking and the networking aspect, and that's very, very, very important in the college life. Next slide, please. Time for cabs. So the campus activity board is made by students, and we usually host and make cool events. For example, we have Coachella, which is our little rendition and spin on Coachella. And we also have Beats and Treats, sold out poetry and jam, comedic nights, and also our movie nights. For the comedic nights, I really do enjoy that just because a lot of my favorite comedians would come to Merced, and I would be able to see them perform and entertain, and that was really fun. And movie nights is really fun too. It usually happens during the beginning of the semester, and there's a poll that you have to take, and you pick a movie that you like, and the movie with the highest rating will usually get picked. With that being said, I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Jude.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Jude. I am a third-year political science major. So during my freshman year, I did live on campus, and it was in one of the residential halls, half dome. And some reasons as to why I chose that dorm was because it had the triple and quad option to choose from. So what I mean by that is that students can choose to live in a single, double, triple, or quad bed options, and the more people you live with, the cheaper housing would be. I also thought to myself, more people will mean more chance to make new friends. Students are required to live on campus through a 2-year housing contract. Studies have shown that students who have lived on their sophomore year just shows less likely to do bad in school and more likely to do well in school through the connections through their peers and RA assistants. Next slide, please. So UC Merced has implemented this new program called Student Dens. And in times of COVID-19, it is really easy to miss your friends or just have a hard time reaching out to other students. So with the help of Student Dens, you get put into groups with other students who can act like your own support system or a close-knit group of friends that you can rely on. So it might be a little weird at first being put in a group with other students, but there are a ton of resources that UC Merced can provide you. There's actually like a student-led Den intern that you can think of them like a residential assistant like RAs if you were to live on campus. Through Microsoft Teams, they also host virtual events to stay active in your community through social mixers or academic workshops. And finally, there are easily accessible campus resources provided for students like the Student First Center, the IT Help Desk, or the library staff. So overall, the Student Desk is there to help build our community and encourage a lifelong learning experience and create a safe space for social interactions for other students to provide each other with social and academic support. Next slide, please. And now we have our NAIA sports. So they offer a pretty good amount of sports, and for our most competitive sports, we have men's and women's soccer, basketball, cross country, and volleyball teams. We are a part of the NAIA, which is like NCAA, but for smaller schools. Thanks to the recent expansion, though, from UC Merced, we just incorporated a new Olympic-sized swimming pool and 2 new fields. So if you are interested in joining a swimming team or a water polo team, now's your chance. However, if you just want to have fun with your friends, then you can definitely sign up for intramural sports. I'm going to hand it back to Brian, my colleague, to handle the rest.
Thank you, Jude. And so we're moving on to our academic experience. UC Merced has 3 schools: School of Engineering, School of Natural Sciences, and School of Social Science, Humanities, and Art. We offer undergraduate and graduate programs with resources and laboratories that enrich students' educational experiences. We also have a new major, the Civil Engineering Bachelor of Science, which will be available to first-year students in the fall of 2021 and for transfer students in the fall of 2023. Next slide, please. Inside the classroom here at UC Merced, we have a 21-to-1 student faculty ratio for your lab and discussion size classes. This provides a personal relationship level with faculty and your peers. Next slide, please. We also believe in learning outside the classroom just as it is important for inside. There are opportunities to study abroad in nearly 35 countries, taking part in summer, semester-long, year-long internships, field study, and research programs of your choice. Next slide, please. And just like many universities of California, research is at the core of our campus here at UC Merced. You can take advantage of research opportunities as early as your first year. The Undergraduate Research Opportunities Center, which also stands for UROC, encourages and facilitates faculty-membered undergraduate research projects and creates activities. The UROC website hosts a database of research opportunities and workshops and events that are always ongoing. Next slide, please. Attending college can be both exciting and challenging. UC Merced has an array of services to help students prepare you both inside and outside the classroom. We offer student support services and campus resources. Next slide, please. At UC Merced, our Center for Career and Professional Advancement provides each student the opportunity to conduct an assessment, design a strategy, and begin to implement a professional development plan. Next slide, please. And after graduation, our graduates work at top companies and organizations in the world. We have over 88% of our alumni who are hired once they graduate, and over 40% who attend graduate school or a master's program. Next slide, please. And now moving on to the fun stuff, admissions and financial aid. Within admissions GPA range, we have a listed of range that our students did get admitted. Next slide, please. And to qualify for freshman admissions, students must meet UC subject and GPA requirements. Subject requirements of college preparatory coursework, known as A through G pattern, and you also must earn a minimum GPA of a 3.0 in all A through G courses. Next slide, please. And here is just a snapshot of the A through G coursework listed there. As you can see there, we also encourage students to take the recommended courses to show us that you go above and beyond the normal coursework to show how competitive and to show us that you are ready for the rigors of the university. Next slide, please. Also, due to COVID-19, there are some changes to the UC admissions policy. There is the pass and no pass, credit and no credit. If you did complete a coursework in the A through G course within the winter, spring, and summer of 2020, you are able to receive that. Also, if you've completed online AP exams, you will be able to submit that to us with completed scores of 3, 4, and 5. And also the IB exams are canceled for 2020. However, UC will continue to award credit for designated IB subjects passed with scores of 5, 6, or 7. Next slide, please. We also consider more than just your subject and GPA requirement. We look into other selections factors such as achievements, honor courses, and even challenges or difficulties you may have faced and how you overcame it. Next slide, please. So the UC application is available on August 1st, but students may not submit an application until November 1st, and you have until November 30th. One application applies to all 9 campuses, and there is an application fee of $70 and $80 for international students. Application fee waiver for low-income students or families for up to 4 campuses, and this is available online as part of the application. Next slide, please. We also have the Blue and Gold Opportunity Plan, and this is a financial aid program that fully covers your system-wide tuition and fees. If you are a California resident, have an AB 540 status, and your family makes less than $80,000 a year. We also offer a middle-class scholarship, which applies to undergraduate students with family incomes up to $184,000, and you can receive up to 10 to 40% of tuition and fees covered for. Just note that there is no separate application for this. It is automatically considered when you submit your FAFSA or California DREAM Act application. Next slide, please. Even if you don't think you qualify for financial aid, we encourage all students to apply at UC Merced, and apply for it. At UC Merced, 87% of UC Merced students receive financial aid in the academic year of 2019 and 20, and also received $19,300 in an average of an annual gift for all eligible UC Merced students. Remember to submit your FAFSA or California DREAM Act application by March 2nd, and you can submit this once you have applied for admissions. Next slide, please. We host several admissions virtual events for students, families, and our community, so definitely take a picture of the QR scan code, and you can learn more about our virtual events on our website. Next slide, please. Check out our upcoming virtual UC events. The next one coming up is UC for You California First Years, and this is happening on Saturday, October 3rd from 10 to 1 p.m. And if you can't make those, definitely check out the website where you'll be able to register and check out the dates that you can make it. Next slide, please. So that is all we have for you at this moment. I want to say thank you for allowing us to present to you all. I hope I was able to provide you more information and insight on what UC Merced is all about. We will leave the rest of the time for the panel to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you so much, Brian, Panna, and Jude for a great presentation tonight. And we will go ahead and get started in some of these questions here. So the first one that's coming through is, what are some of our popular majors?
Yeah, definitely. That's a great question. Some of our most popular majors, I would have to say, within engineering is computer science and engineering. Our School of Natural Sciences is biological science, and School of Social Science, Humanities, and Arts, we have psychology and management, business, and economics. I also forgot to mention that I am an alumni of UC Merced, and I received my bachelor's degree in management, business, and economics. And it was a great degree where I was able to really gain knowledge in all aspects of business, economics, and take entrepreneurship classes. So again, UC Merced does a great job in really getting you to know more about what you may want to do after you graduate.
Great. And are students allowed to attend a California community college prior to transferring to the University of California, Merced?
So yes, so we do have options for dual enrollment. Students are able to enroll in community colleges to take any courses that they would like. As long as it is UC transferable, those courses will be transferred to the UC when you apply for the UC. So yes.
And Brian, can you please expand on majors that lead to the health field, specifically dentistry and pre-med?
Yes, so lots of our students who come in and are interested into pre-med or into the health field, we have our pre-health advisors who help advise you into the courses to take and prepare you for any of the graduate or master's program you may be interested into going into. So whether that's a dentistry program, a physical therapy program, all of our pre-health advisors help prepare you and put you on a path that you can be successful in your program after you graduate here at UC Merced.
And what about undergraduate research opportunities? Do we have that at UC Merced?
Yes, so as I mentioned earlier in the presentation, we do have an undergraduate research opportunity center, and this is available for all undergraduates. As soon as your first semester or first year, you are more than welcome to be a part of this center. You don't have to have any previous knowledge of research. This center does a great job in really helping you with the steps to kind of get familiar with research and understanding the process through it. And you even have the opportunity to work with faculty members and staff members on our campus with any subject or topics of your interest.
And Brian, can you give us, or the student population that's watching us tonight, can you give them some advice on how to become a competitive applicant?
Yes, so to become a competitive applicant, I would just say, to truly be yourself and, be involved on your high school campus, take those courses, whether those honor courses, those AP courses that really help you prepare for the University of California rigorous demands. We want to see that students are ready for that, and those courseworks and those involvements can really show us your leadership skills. So if you have the opportunity in high school to take leadership roles of clubs and organizations, I highly encourage you to take partake in that. And also, again, preparing and taking honor courses and AP really shows to us that you'll be ready as the competitive candidate here at the UC.
Great. And Brian, as a student, would you be able to, actually not a current student, of course, but as a former student, can you give us some of your experiences as a student athlete?
Yeah, definitely. So my experience as a student athlete was unknown. I had the opportunity as soon as I stepped foot on campus, and that kind of goes back to the endless amounts of opportunities UC Merced provides. It was the first year program for the men's soccer team. I was able to try out for the team and make the team, and 4 years later, graduate as a student athlete. If you have the opportunity to become a student athlete, I highly recommend and encourage you to. It's a great experience. You get to meet your lifelong friends. In addition to that, not only are you a student, but you are an athlete, so you get to manage and really be organized in terms of your academics, your practice times, your games, and you really learn how to prioritize and time manage. So it's definitely an experience that helps prepare you for the real world, and really gain that experience that you may not somewhere else.
Great, thank you for that. So this next one coming up, can you mention a little bit about the upcoming GASP emphasis and how we're actually expanding the arts major? Maybe define what actually the GASP actually means.
Yeah, so the Global Studies in Arts program here at UC Merced. So we definitely are expanding within that. Lots of our students are showing interest in that. And within that, we are having courseworks of arts, whether that's multimedia, any of those interests for our students. We are doing our best to expand those coursework so students who are interested in that major will be able to kind of gain more experience and enhance their academics while taking those courses here at UC Merced.
Great, and as many of you may already know, we did have some really wonderful additions to UC Merced as part of our 2020 project. Brian, would you be able to talk a little bit about what is new on campus for the 2020 project?
Yes, so some of the new 2020 project buildings and facilities, we have new research, teaching, and student support service facilities that have been recently built. Also, one of our newest facilities is our Olympic-sized pool. So within that, we are hoping to gain, hopefully, new varsity collegiate sports coming onto our campus. In addition to that, we have a new wellness center along with new recreational fields for our students. So yes, there has been a ton of facilities and buildings that have been added to our 2020 project.
Great, and can you talk a little bit about whether or not students are able to double major and what it's like to switch majors if that's an option?
Yeah, so we do have the options for students to double major. So if that's something that of their interest, they would have to talk to their academic advisor and then fill out an application and go through that process. Also, if you are interested in switching majors, there is an option for that as well. You would have to talk to your academic advisor and go through the same kind of application process and switching majors. So if that's something that you are concerned about, yes, we do have those options here at UC Merced.
Great. And can you also share your knowledge based on whether or not professors do office hours if they host those types of hours?
Yeah, so office hours are dependent on the availabilities of either professors or faculty members. They do their best to give office hours to provide, student schedules as well, providing a few times a week. I remember as a student, speaking back to the personal relationship levels that I've had with them, UC Merced does a great job in providing that personal relationship. As I mentioned, a 21-to-1 student faculty ratio. I remember as a student, it was great having, the option to attend office hours and not having to wait in long lines, also getting respondent time from my professors and faculty members and not having to wait more than a few days until they responded. So the office hours are great to kind of gain more knowledge and get to know your professors on that personal level.
Perfect. And then can you also talk a little bit about the ratio of student to faculty and what a close-knit kind of family network that we actually have at UC Merced?
Yeah, so mentioning and kind of piggybacking off that 21-to-1 student faculty ratio that I mentioned, lots of our students enjoy that because you get that close-knit community, not only with your professors or faculty members, but with your peers as well. So being able to connect with them in your classrooms and also, forming study groups of those kind of groups that can help you succeed as a student. I remember walking up the hills and having that close-knit community where you're always saying hi to another student or a faculty member, and it's kind of just that close-knit community that you won't find anywhere else.
Definitely can agree with that. So this is a little bit bigger question and one of the most important probably tonight. If you can talk a little bit about financial aid, so the FAFSA and the California Dream application, and about how much financial aid do we offer?
Yeah, so a little bit more about the financial aid. Within our financial aid, as I mentioned earlier, over 87% of our students, do receive financial aid, and they receive a little over $19,000. And through that process, you'll be able to apply as soon as you submit your application. And the deadline to submit that would be March 2nd. So you want to make sure that you submit that prior to that. And what was the second part of the question? I kind of have missed off of that.
Oh, the California Dream Act. So the FAFSA and California Dream.
Yes, so those dates and deadlines would be fall within the same dates and deadlines. So March 2nd is the deadline to submit those forms.
Great. And then if you can also share a little bit of your personal experience as a student, as a management major.
Yeah, definitely. So my personal experience as a management major, initially I actually came in as an engineering major, and I like to really advise and tell my students that I talk to that it's definitely okay to not know what you want to major in or be part of a major yet. College is really a time for you to explore and find out who you really are. I was able to take a few general ed classes and really found my interest within business and management. And that, I found built a really good foundation and base to the career path that I really wanted to go to. I found a passion for that, and I was happy with the coursework that I was taking. So that was kind of my experience in becoming a management major. And within that, as I mentioned earlier, I was able to take classes from entrepreneurship, marketing, accounting, financing, all those classes that can really help you, prepare you for after you graduate. So I really enjoyed my time as an MBE major. I got to meet and network with a lot of professionals in that field, and it was a really great major overall.
Wonderful, thank you. So I think we're getting close to our wrap-up time here. So let's go ahead and take one last question. Can you talk a little bit about the CalTeach program?
Yeah, definitely. So the CalTeach program is a teacher preparation program for our students. This is a program where, it's a single or multiple credential program where you can receive for a K through 12. And within this is a one-year program. So students who are interested in teaching can be a part of this program. Lots of our students who can also are in their natural sciences are able to complete their coursework and kind of tie that into the teaching preparation program. So if that's something you might be interested in going into, we also offer that here at UC Merced.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Brian, for all of your expert information and, of course, your personal experience as being a student at UC Merced. That definitely offers our audience tonight great insight into what we have to offer at University of California, Merced. At this time, we have reached our half-an-hour mark, so we certainly hope that our audience has gained a lot of great information during this presentation. Although it was short, it was jam-packed with great info for you. And as you can see on your screen now, we do have some resources for you. So if you didn't quite get your question answered tonight, or you just have a follow-up, feel free to give us a call or an email. You see that information on the screen. This would be a great opportunity for you to go ahead and grab your smartphone if you'd like to go ahead and take a picture of this screen. That way you have that for future reference. So that email address and the phone number is there for the admissions office. We also host several social media platforms. As you can see there, we have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube for your pleasure. So you can go ahead and take a look and follow us there for lots of fun updates. We have contests that we run there, as well as all the critical updates that you will need pertaining to your UC application, as well as other events like the one that you've attended tonight. Once again, my name is Ricky Hill, and on behalf of myself and all of my colleagues here at the University of California, Merced, a great big thank you for all of you for attending this evening and for our expert panelists. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much.